everyone, DPX here. Welcome back to another movie review. Today I am reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog movie 3. Now before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to like the video, time to hit the bell, leave a comment, or I will outrun you. To give a little bit of background with my history with this sort of Sonic movie series, or just Sonic in general, I really like the Sonic games. Like, they're hit or miss, like, as of late, I feel, and I kind of like all around, but like, there are some great Sonic games. I consider myself a fan of the series, but I'm not like a super fan. But as for the movies, I think they hit it out of the park every time, you know, they're not peak cinema, but it's not trying to be peak cinema. I remember with the first Sonic movie, there's like everything going against it, and then it came out, and it's like, wow, this is way better than it has any right being. And then the second movie comes out, and there's actual hype behind it, and it's like, you know, this is a good movie. And now we got the third one, which I think is the best of the trilogy. So, like, right off the bat, you kind of get like a family dynamic between like Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails as like like they're all kind of brothers, you know. And you get like Maddie and Tom, I think their names are, as like the parents. I first off, like, we don't see it that much. Like, that's not like the main focus, but I really like that dynamic, you know what I mean? In the games, like, you get Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, they're all friends, but they're not like brothers, so I think this is like a cool way to, you know, adapt it. You know, they're taking liberties. It's not like an exact adaptation, but I think this works. And obviously all like the voice acting is great, you know. Specifically, like, Knuckles is like my favorite Sonic character, and Idris Elba playing Knuckles, like, I thought it was perfect back in Sonic 2, and it's perfect again here. Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman, Robotnik, is back, of course, but he's playing two characters. He's playing both Eggman, and he's playing Gerald. And I think the scenes with both of them are great, but the best part of the movie is Shadow. Shadow is always, like, such a cool Sonic character. You know, I say Knuckles is my favorite, but in terms of story, like, the Sonic games haven't really ever had that deep story, you know what I mean? Like, the Sonic lore hasn't been that deep, except for when it comes to Shadow. Shadow's the one exception where the Sonic lore gets pretty deep, because Shadow's like a fan favorite. Shadow's genuinely really cool, and we get him here, and of course, he's voiced by Keanu Reeves, and again, just like Idris Elba as Knuckles, I think Keanu Reeves voicing Shadow is perfect. Like, it was like a fan casting, you know what I mean? Like, this was casting that people wanted, and they went with it. The same thing happened with Idris Elba as Knuckles. So I think they just, like, any character that or any actor that people want voicing a character that, like, actually makes sense, you know, there's a good chance that happens. But also, like, Shadow brings a new dynamic to this movie, or this whole series, you know what I mean? If you know the story of Shadow, I'm not going to spoil it in case you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't know the Sonic games that well. The story of Shadow is very sad. I'll just say that. Throughout the trilogy here, you know, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails have all kind of been, like, you know, happy-going, like, lighthearted, almost like comic relief characters. I don't know about comic relief characters, but they're like, you know, more jokey characters, more quippy characters, more punny characters. Shadow is not that at all. And I thought it was a good idea, like, very interesting to introduce Shadow and have him kind of be like the antithesis of Sonic, you know. And they do, like, the dynamic is great. How they have Shadow basically, like, he has a similar, like, backstory as Sonic in, like, to a certain degree, but it's like if Sonic went about it completely differently, if you know what I mean. Like, Shadow is the anti-Sonic in this movie, and I thought that was a very interesting, you know, thing to do. I also gotta talk about Jim Carrey. You know, I kind of thought he was done after the second movie, because it seemed like they killed him off in the second movie, but, like, at the same time, Jim Carrey is kind of like, I was gonna say carrying this movie. It's kind of a pun. I didn't even mean to do that. But like, he's giving this trilogy legs. You know what I mean? And also, like, there's a bit of a reputation with Jim Carrey movie sequels not having Jim Carrey not doing as well or just not being as good. But again, like, he steals the show. He's great in this movie. And he's playing two characters. He's playing Dr. Eggman and his grandfather, Gerald. Who Gerald hasn't really appeared in that many Sonic games. At least I don't think he has. But so first of all, it's really cool to see him in this movie. But then also what they do with him, you know, like, I'm just gonna say this, he's making him like the biggest bad, I think is really cool. And watching the trailers, it's a little confusing because in one trailer they make it clear, oh, Eggman's teaming up with Sonic to take down Shadow. And then in like one of the other trailers, it's like, oh, well, Eggman is teaming up with Gerald and Shadow to fight Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. You know, so it's a little confusing. I'll say what they do with Eggman here, and like it kind of, I'm not gonna say what they do, but I thought it was great, like a great thing to do with Eggman, and not undo him as a character in the previous movies, if that makes sense. Not to mention, there is one sequence in the movie, in like the third act, as a Sonic fan, fucking fantastic. I love that shit. I love that part. Yeah, I just loved it. And a certain song they used as well. As for some negatives, obviously, I don't have a whole lot of negatives, and they're not really that big. But this isn't going to be like a 10 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 10. It's just one of those movies where, like, it's not quite, like, perfect or anything like that. But I don't have any significant negatives, if you know what I mean. I will say there are some music choices in the movie that are a little questionable. And some characters do Fortnite dancing. There's some jokes that get repeated over and over that weren't really that funny. You know what I mean? Overall, I thought Sonic 3 was a fun time at the movies. I think you can enjoy this if you're a kid or an adult. You know what I mean? I want to give the Sonic movie 3 an 8.5 out of 10. So that's my review for the Sonic movie 3. What do you guys think of the movie? Have you guys seen the movie, not seen the movie? Do you guys like the movie, not like the movie? Have you guys... Did you guys want to see it, not want to see it? If you haven't seen it, let me know about the movie, anything down below. Anyways, be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, or I will outrun you. This might be my last review of the year. I don't know, I did Squid Game 2. Squid Game Season 2 comes out. Kind of at a weird time, so I don't know if I'll review that, or if I do, it might be late. But we'll see. But this may be the last review I have this year. So, thanks for watching the reviews this year. See you guys.